In this video, I'm going to give you a free best bet in tonight's NBA playoff game between the Atlanta Hawks and the New York Knicks. Before I do so, I encourage you to go to wagertalk.com where you're going to find my 4% NBA game of the week. It goes tonight in the nightcap, one of the NBA playoff games. Don't miss this 4%er. I am 13-4 all time. That's 77% on NBA top-rated plays. I cashed my 5% on Saturday. It was the under in the Rockets-Lakers game. I cashed my 4% yesterday, my NBA best bet on the Oklahoma City Thunder laying the wood over the Phoenix Suns. You don't want to miss tonight's 4% NBA best bet. Check it out at wagertalk.com. And while you're there, check out all of my colleagues. You're not going to find a better group of handicappers in the industry, bar none. They all have phenomenal long-term records, and I trust all of them. So let's take a look at tonight's game between the Knicks and the Hawks. Game one, Knicks won 113-102. They led most of the way. They led the last 3+ quarters of the game. So it wasn't even close. You're going to find that they had the length advantage, the size advantage in this game. Now, the Hawks had some variance, had some regression in the game. They ranked 6th during the regular season in the NBA with 118.5 points per game, and they ranked 5th at three-point shooting at 37.1%. They trailed only 57-55 at half. They trailed by 2. What happened? Variance, very, very negative variance in the second half. They shot 28.6% from beyond the arc. That was 6 of 21 in the second half against the Knicks. So trailed by 2, the wheels fell off in the second half. I think we can expect some positive regression for the Atlanta Hawks from beyond the arc. I think they have a chance in game 2. Well, is it my best bet? I'm not sure. So will Atlanta revert back and be back to where they should be, or will the Knicks take a commanding 2-0 lead? Let's take a look at this game from both sides, Atlanta and New York. So the Atlanta Hawks, good news for them. Underdogs have dominated the series, 6-5 straight up, 8-3 against the spread the last 11 meetings. Since the All-Star break, the Hawks have been red hot, 20-6 straight up with a net rating of 10.1. Another good trend for them. That is very good. They ranked 10th in offensive rating at a 118.3 and 2nd in raw defensive rating at 108.6 during that stretch to end the regular season. Here are some negatives. The Hawks against good teams, 500 or better, only 23-30 straight up against 500 and greater teams. Now, even more importantly, I know 26 sounds great to end the regular season. Against teams that were tanking, which is a problem in the NBA, they were 17-2 straight up in the second half of the regular season during that stretch, and only 3-4 straight up against teams that were still trying to win games. Now, the Hawks feel like they have a better chance to beat the Knicks because in their last game of the regular season, they played and they had a winnable game, very winnable game against the Miami Heat. They had a choice: win that game, game number 82 against the Heat, and most likely face the Cleveland Cavaliers, or rest starters and tank and not win the game and face the New York Knicks. The Hawks made the decision to rest starters and not play they didn't want to play the Cavs. They lost to the Heat because they wanted to focus on the New York Knicks, despite the fact that New York was 2-1 against Atlanta in their 3 meetings during the regular season. The problem with Atlanta also is they lack a consistent offense outside of Jalen Johnson. Without him, I don't see anyone else on Atlanta's roster who can create offense on his own in the half-court setting. That's another issue for Atlanta, despite the fact that their offense was much better in the second half of the season. Now, the Knicks, you talk about bulletin board material, what I just referenced with Atlanta saying, hey, we're gonna lose game 82 on purpose against the Heat because we would rather play the Knicks than the Cavs. You don't think the Knicks noticed that? Absolutely took notice of it. I guarantee you it's up in the locker room. That's bulletin board material. And the Knicks came out in game 1 and they made it known. And I think they're going to be motivated for game 2 as well. Now, the New York Knicks during the regular season, at home, they had a +10 point differential at home at Madison Square Garden. That was the 3rd best in the NBA behind the Thunder and the Pistons. Here are some technical trends, angles, playoff trends that you may want to keep in mind that support New York. Now, round 1 home teams, New York, that won in game one. They're 39-12 straight up and 33-18 against the spread. That's 65% since 2015. Two, round one hosts like New York, 57-15 straight up, 48-24 ATS at 67%. The last 9 non-neutral playoff seasons. As I mentioned earlier, Knicks won 2 out of 3 games this season against the Hawks. The key factor in those games, Karl-Anthony Towns. What did he do? He averaged 28.5 points and 13.5 rebounds in 2 of those contests against Atlanta. Why? Atlanta lacks size and length. So that is where we're at. The problem for Atlanta with the size and length deficiency is also they allow the 5th highest rate at the rim. In New York, can exploit not only inside but outside. The Knickerbockers are 4th best 3-point shooting team in the NBA this season. The weak link for New York, that's a concern. Who is it? Mitchell Robinson. Why is he a weak link? Well, if you look at all the players on the roster for the Knicks, there's one player who declined the most significantly against better teams, and that would be Mitchell Robinson. So he also shoots less than 50% from the foul line. You talk hack a Shaq. I mean, you're going to be hacking Robinson if he's in the game late because he can't make a foul shot to save his life. Before I get to my free best bet, if you're liking this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and let me know what your comments and thoughts are on the games tonight, and all week. I'm going to be engaging with you. I really appreciate it. Again, thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Now, to my free best bet. Take the New York Knicks -6 tonight in game 2 at Madison Square Garden. Why? I have 3 technical trends and some subsets that support this investment. Technical trend number 1, New York prevailed in game 1 on Saturday as 6-point favorites. That win is significant for several reasons. Here are the 3 subsets. First, NBA playoff home favorites coming off an opening win in the series, 61-47-2 against the spread. That's 57% since 2013, including 16-1 ATS. That's 62% since the beginning of the 2020 season. Second, round 1 NBA playoff hosts like the Knicks, 105-79 against the spread, 57.1% in game 2 clashes since 1999, including 38-18 ATS, 68% since 2018. Now get this, they've covered the spread over those games by an average margin of 3.4 points per game. Third, NBA playoff home favorites priced between -2 and -10. They're 87-55 against the spread, 61.3% in game 2 of an opening round series since 1996, including 26-8 against the spread. That's 77% since 2019. They've exceeded market expectations by an average margin of 4.9 points per game. That's just a fancy way of saying they covered the spread by an average margin of almost 5 points per game in those contests. Technical trend number 2, Atlanta. This is going to be their 3rd straight road game. They ended the regular season on the road. This will be the 3rd straight road game in Madison Square Garden for game 2 of this series. That's notable because since 2003, NBA playoff teams playing their 3rd straight road affair are 88-120 against the spread. That's 42.3%, including 35-56-1 against the spread. That's 38.5% since 2015. These teams have failed to cover the spread by an average margin of 3 points per game. Technical trend number 3, supporting my free best bet on the New York Knicks. The Hawks have been underdogs each of their last 2 games, which is notable because NBA underdogs off consecutive games as underdogs are 255, 345, and 13 ATS. That's a lousy 42.5%, including 120, 172, and 8 ATS, 41% since the beginning of the 2016-2017 season. With those trends in mind, the matchup analysis I provided, my free best bet for Monday, April 20th, here at Wager Talk TV. Lay the wood, lay the points to the New York Knicks. I believe they're 5.5, 6 right now. Lay the points. They're going to prevail in game 2. Thanks again for tuning into the Keim's Corner. If you haven't done so already, thumbs up. I really appreciate it. It helps out the channel. Subscribe if you haven't done so. And please comment in the sections below. I'll be engaging with you and look forward to reading your comments. Again, this is Keim's Corner, Wager Talk TV. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you next time.